This is Admiral Thrawn. Thrawn was the Grand Admiral of the Imperial Navy's 7th Fleet and captain of the Star Destroyer Chimera. A keen strategist and tactician, his ruthlessness knew no bounds, earning him a promotion from none other than Emperor Palpatine himself. His experience in hunting down rebels made him one of the Spectre's most formidable opponents.
What was first just a dream has become a frightening reality.
This is the Knights of Ren, Cardo, Kuruk, Aplek, Trudgen, Ushar, and Vicrul. The Knights of Ren are a band of masked, Force-sensitive warriors who are devoted to the dark side of the Force. The Knights of Ren emerged from the unknown regions after the fall of the Galactic Empire and now serve their master, Kylo Ren, by hunting the scavenger girl, Rey. This is B-1 Battle Droid.
Roger, roger.
B-1 battle droids were created by the Trade Federation and made up the bulk of their invading forces. B-1 battle droids were designed to overwhelm their enemy through sheer numbers, rather than one-on-one combat. This is in part due to their flimsy build and occasional glitches that often lead to unique personality quirks. This is B-1 battle droid, Kashyyyk. The jungle battle droids were a unique variant of the B-1 battle droid that was designed for assaults on planets with dense foliage. Present on Kashyyyk during the Separatists' attempt to invade the Wookiee homeworld, these jungle droids are painted with a green camouflage that makes them perfect for blending into the local flora. This is B-1 battle droid, Geonosis.
Roger, roger.
Even though many battle droids were created on Geonosis, a specific line of B-1 was made with the planet's desert landscape in mind. The unique line of Geonosian battle droid came with a darker paint job, one more conducive to camouflaging in the orange sands of Geonosis. This is B-1 battle droid, Security. Another variation of the B-1 battle droid, the security droids were easily distinguished from others by their red shoulder markings. Stationed on various separatist flagships and battle stations, the security battle droids were the first form of defense whenever the Republic attempted to commandeer a capital ship. This is B-1 battle droid, Heavy Assault. The Heavy Assault battle droids were specially modified versions of the classic B-1 battle droid. Designed to wield more powerful blasters and fitted with a shield emitter, the heavy battle droids are lethal in ground assaults and much more potent than their original B-1 counterparts. This is B-1 battle droid, Commander.
Roger, roger.
Battle droids may ultimately serve an organic leader, but when on the front line, they report to their battle droid commander. The commander's bright markings on their heads and torsos help them stand out from the other B-1 battle droids when in the midst of combat. This is Captain Canady. Captain Canady has served both the Empire and the First Order. After commanding an Imperial Star Destroyer during the Galactic Civil War, he is now captain of the Siege Dreadnought, Fulminatrix. This is the dreadnought that Poe Dameron led a team of bombers against during the evacuation of Dakar.
Destroy that last bomber!
This is Captain Peavey. Previously an officer in the Galactic Empire, Edrison Peavey was part of the initial group of veterans that joined the First Order. During the Resistance's evacuation of Dakar, he was made to serve General Hux on the Finalizer, a ship he would usually command himself. This is Captain Phasma.
It seems I must handle this myself.
Captain Phasma ran the First Order Stormtrooper training program with an iron and chrome fist. Alongside General Hux and Kylo Ren, she zealously served Supreme Leader Snoke, carrying out his orders with devastating effect.
You are always scum.
This is Commander Jir. A fierce and bold officer of the Galactic Empire, Commander Jir rose quickly through the ranks due to Darth Vader's fondness for his honesty. Alongside the Sith Lord, Commander Jir was present when his Stormtrooper Legion boarded the Tantive 4 in search of the Death Star plans. This is Crosshair. The cantankerous clone known as Crosshair is a member of Clone Force 99, or the Bad Batch. His unique genetic mutations gave Crosshair exceptional sharpshooting abilities, making him one of the galaxy's most gifted marksmen. The sniper has a reputation of being a rather cynical figure, and is often heard disdainfully referring to regular clone troopers as regs.
How touching.
This is Director Krennic. Orson Krennic was the volatile director in charge of developing the Death Star superweapon. Having manipulated former friend Galen Erso into helping him create the planet destroyer, Krennic had hoped to curry favor with the Emperor and go down in the Galactic Empire's history. However, his legacy was ruined after knowledge of a fatal flaw, deliberately installed by Erso, found its way to the rebels.
Are we blind? Deploy the garrison!
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, look, here's Lyra back from the dead. It's a miracle.
This is the Emperor's Royal Guard. The Emperor's Royal Guard is comprised of the most skilled fighters the Galactic Empire has to offer. These elite combatants are robed head to toe in red and brandish a deadly force pike.
Unleashed glory to all divisions of the Imperial side.
This is Empire Captain. The Imperial Navy was a force to be reckoned with due to its devastating fleet and ruthless personnel. Their iconic and destructive ships were commanded by a series of cruel captains, each of them adorned with a recognizable red and blue Imperial rank badge to denote their lofty status in the Navy. This is First Order Stormtrooper and FN-2199. Made up of mostly conscripted participants, the First Order's Stormtroopers took influence from the Galactic Empire's equivalent. These new troopers wore a similarly recognizable white armor, used to remind the galaxy of the Empire's reign. This is Finn.
We all ready to go? We all ready to go?
After traveling to Canto Bight with Rose, Finn was unable to locate the Master Codebreaker. However, the enigmatic DJ seems to be able to serve the same purposes. Now in disguise on the Supremacy, Finn, Rose, and DJ must keep a low profile if they are to switch off the ship's hyperspace tracking capabilities. This is FN-2187.
We all ready to go?
FN-2187 is a stormtrooper for the First Order, who is often found working in sanitation. He was indoctrinated into the First Order at a young age, but over the years he has become disillusioned with their practices and fearful of their leaders. Deep down, he is desperate to escape.
Use the toggle on the left to switch between missiles, cannons, and mag pulse. Use the sight on the right to aim.
This is very complicated.
This is First Order Flametrooper. The First Order Flametroopers worked in tandem with standard stormtroopers to flush out their enemy. Wielding destructive flamethrowers and adorned in special heat protective armor, these dangerous troopers were a force to be reckoned with. This is First Order Jet Trooper. Jet Troopers are specialist stormtroopers trained in using an NJP-900 integrated jetpack. Soaring into battle, these agile flyers are armed with tri-barreled projectile launchers and modified helmets that assist their aim whilst maneuvering the skies. This is First Order Officer. With a hierarchy similar to the Galactic Empire, the First Order was also comprised of a range of officers. Mostly commanding garrisons and stationed on battleships, First Order officers were often an officious bunch. The highest ranking and most formidable of them all was General Armitage Hux, who reported directly to the Supreme Leader himself. This is the First Order Officer, Kijimi. As the First Order descended onto Kijimi, garrisons of stormtroopers were deployed to march up and down the sleepy streets. Searching for the scavenger girl, the occupation officers dressed in appropriate attire for the cold temperatures, as their mission may take all night. This is First Order Cold Weather Assault Trooper. Before the destruction of Starkiller Base, many of the First Order's snowtroopers would patrol its snowy surface. However, as the First Order close in on the Resistance, garrisons of snowtroopers are deployed to the planet Kijimi, where the troopers' insulated betaplast armor will keep them warm whilst they search for Rey. This is First Order Snowtrooper. The First Order had a number of stormtrooper variants, one of which was the Snowtrooper. Wearing uniquely insulated armor and helmets, the snowtroopers were designed to withstand cold climates and snowy terrain. This is First Order Special Forces fighter pilot. More than simply pilots, the Special Forces fighter pilots were an elite group consisting of the best flyers the First Order had to offer. Wearing similar uniforms to regular pilots, these experts wore 2 red stripes on their helmets to make sure they stood out. This is First Order TIE fighter pilot. First Order TIE fighter pilots spend most of their time hunting enemy ships and protecting First Order strongholds. Despite donning a similar black uniform to their Imperial predecessors, First Order TIE pilots were treated with more reverence. Being a pilot in the First Order was an extremely prestigious accomplishment. This is Gar Saxon. Gar Saxon was once a member of the Mandalorian Death Watch, opposing the pacifist government of the new Mandalorians and serving under leader Pre-Vizsla, that is, until Maul took over. Saxon submitted himself fully to Maul's new leadership and, alongside Rook Kast, served in Maul's Shadow Collective, a new criminal alliance. This is General Grievous.
Just give me a moment.
Some time ago, Grievous sustained severe injuries that required extensive and complex repair. The resulting cybernetic implants transformed him almost entirely into a machine. Now, he commands the vast droid army of the Separatists, but when he is not leading his forces into battle, he is expanding his collection of Jedi lightsabers. This is General Hux.
This is General Armitage Hux of the First Order.
The power-hungry Armitage Hux serves as a general in the First Order, overseeing the barbaric training of First Order troopers. Reporting directly to the Supreme Leader, Hux often clashes with fellow First Order dignitary, Kylo Ren, as they both vie for their leader's approval.
This fierce machine which you have built, upon which we stand, will bring an end to the Senate, bow to the First Order, and will remember this as the last day of the Republic! I'm the spy.
What? You?
This is Imperial Death Trooper. Imperial Death Troopers are the most elite and highly regarded variant of Stormtrooper in the entire Galactic Empire. Using their specialized jet black suits, a Death Trooper's capabilities in both espionage and combat were rivaled by no other trooper. If a mission required an Imperial Death Trooper, it meant the task at hand was of the utmost importance. This is Imperial Fleet Trooper. Their uniform may not be as intimidating as the Stormtroopers, but the Imperial Fleet Troopers still have an important role to play. These highly trained individuals keep the Empire's fleet operational and ensure all functions are working correctly. This is Imperial Gunnery Technician. Found on board both Death Stars, Imperial Gunnery Technicians had the vital job of operating the battle station's various weapons, which they used with devastating effects. This is Imperial Shore Trooper. The Coastal Defender Stormtroopers are a unique class of Stormtrooper based on the tropical planet of Scarif. Here, they guard the secret Imperial security complex and patrol the surrounding beaches. Shore Troopers, as they were also known, had no armor across their waist and thighs to help them traverse the unique shorelines in battle. This is Incinerator Stormtrooper. The Incinerator Stormtroopers are a sinister class of Stormtrooper that wield large, devastating flamethrowers. To signify their wickedness, their white armor is adorned with deep red markings. This terrifying armor was specially produced to withstand the tremendous heat that emits from their weaponry. This is Mimban Stormtrooper. The Stormtroopers stationed on Mimban were actually wet weather gear Stormtroopers, a variant that wore specialized armor that gave a wider range of movement to its wearer, ideal for trudging through mud and swamps. This is Moff Gideon. The ruthless Moff Gideon commanded a section of the Imperial remnant after the fall of the Galactic Empire. A stalwart Imperial, Gideon oversaw experiments on the Force-sensitive child known as Grogu while he held him captive. At some point, Moff Gideon came into possession of the Mandalorian relic known as the Darksaber. This is OOM-9, an OOM battle droid commander. OOM-9 serves in the droid army of the Trade Federation and led the droids in their battle against the Gungans. Despite having the upper hand, victory was not theirs for long, as the Trade Federation's battle station fell and control of the droids was lost. This is Pryde.
The final order will be victorious.
General Pryde serves on the First Order High Command under the tyrannical leadership of Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Dedicated to the cause, his loyalty is never in question, having served the Emperor himself during the reign of the Galactic Empire.
Sir.
Tell him we found our spy.
This is Range Trooper. Range Troopers are a specialized unit of stormtroopers created by the Galactic Empire. These resilient warriors were trained to handle inhospitable conditions, and as such were issued bespoke equipment. For example, they wore gription boots that used magnets to allow for sure footing atop fast-moving vehicles. This is Sandtrooper, Sergeant. Taking orders from their commander, the Sandtrooper sergeants patrol desert planets alongside their scouts and privates. With cooling fans built into their armor, they are much better at handling the adverse heat than regular stormtroopers. This is Sandtrooper. This is Sandtrooper, Commander. Sandtroopers are a branch of the Empire's forces dedicated solely to patrolling desert worlds. With cooling fans built into their armor, they are fully prepared for the adverse heat. Sandtrooper commanders lead squads of these desert-dwelling fighters on missions such as the one to Tatooine in search of the Death Star plans. This is Scout Trooper. Scout Troopers are a specialized unit of Imperial Stormtroopers used for reconnaissance missions. Their lighter armor makes traversal easier than it is for regular Stormtroopers, and their training in melee combat and long-range weaponry means they're dangerous up close and from afar.
Knock it off.
This is Scout Trooper, Kashyyyk. Deployed to the planet Kashyyyk during the Clone Wars, Clone Scout Troopers are an elite faction of clones that specialize in combat on rough terrain. They are also trained in reconnaissance, often being sent to scout locations before a battle commences. This is Sith Jet Trooper and Sith Trooper. The fearsome Sith Troopers were assembled and trained in secret on the mysterious planet of Exegol. Devoted to the Sith, they serve the new Final Order unwaveringly and will stop at nothing to bring forth a new age of the Sith. This is Snowtrooper. Cold weather assault stormtroopers were designed for just that, cold weather assaults. Squadrons of Snowtroopers were deployed on Hoth when the Empire made their attack on the rebel hideout in Echo Base. This is Sovereign Protector. Emperor Palpatine's personal bodyguards were selected from the most skilled Sith troopers residing on Exegol. Their striking red armor and capes are reminiscent of the Emperor's royal guard from during the Galactic Empire. These new sovereign protectors are sworn to guard Emperor Palpatine and the Citadel itself from any prying eyes and would-be heroes. This is Stormtrooper.
Ready for duty.
Loyal, obedient, and deadly, the Galactic Empire's Stormtroopers were a formidable force that spread terror across the galaxy. They were the ones on the front lines, fighting the rebels in the name of the Emperor. Their recognizable and iconic white armor was derived from the old clone trooper design. This is Stormtrooper, Empire Sergeant. Stormtrooper sergeants signify their rank by wearing a crisp, black pauldron on their shoulder. These troopers are better skilled in the art of battle strategy than regular stormtroopers, so sergeants coordinate their squad's attack moves from the midst of the battlefield. However, they do not just give out orders, they also fight alongside their team, shoulder to shoulder on the front lines. This is Stormtrooper, Empire Commander. Adorned with an orange or red pauldron, Stormtrooper commanders lead their squad of troopers in coordinated attacks on their enemies. Not only do they take on the position of on-field strategist, they also engage in the assaults themselves, making these commanders a versatile and multifaceted asset. This is Stormtrooper, First Order Driver. Trained in piloting the rugged tread speeders, this Stormtrooper unit were called into action when the Resistance were spotted in the deserts of Pisana. The bulky patrol speeders flew over the sands with terrifying speed due to the rear repulsor field rendering the bike almost weightless. This is Stormtrooper, First Order Sergeant. Complementing the monochromatic aesthetic of their armor, Stormtrooper sergeants in the First Order wore a jet black pauldron on their shoulder. This allows troopers in battle to identify their superior and follow their lead. First Order Stormtrooper armor is stronger than their predecessors, so sergeants are frequently seen on the front lines, fighting side by side with their troopers. This is Stormtrooper, First Order Squad Leader. A tradition inherited by the Galactic Empire, Stormtroopers wore colored pauldrons to denote their rank. Squad leaders wore a clean white one on their shoulder plate. Due to the dynamic nature of battles with the Resistance, roles like squad leader are vital in being able to assess the evolving nature of a battle and to determine whether new tactics are needed. This is Stormtrooper, First Order Heavy Assault. The First Order have created a class of Stormtrooper they commonly refer to as Heavy Troopers. These deadly enforcers wield large mega blasters that cause a huge amount of damage to their enemy. They are highly trained in how to use these devastating weapons and even carry a vast amount of additional ammo, meaning their assaults are always destructive. This is Stormtrooper, First Order Officer. Adorned with a deep red pauldron, Stormtrooper officers lead their squad of troopers into coordinated attacks on their enemies. Not only do they strategize the squadron's movements, they also engage in the assaults themselves, making these officers a versatile and multifaceted asset. This is Supervisor Dedra Meero. Methodical, polished, and ambitious, Dedra Meero embodies the ideals of the Imperial Security Bureau. She is ever vigilant, collecting and analyzing intelligence from across the galaxy to identify possible signs of disorder.
I'd spread it out. Never climb the same fence twice. An announcement.
Thank you, sir. Watch your back.
This is Syril Karn. Syril Karn believes in order and justice. The ambitious inspector hopes to make a name for himself in quelling any signs of rebellious activity. This is TIE Fighter Pilot. TIE Fighter pilots are the troopers whom the Empire deemed skilled enough to fly in the Imperial Navy. They pilot TIE fighters with pride, as the iconic ship is synonymous with the Empire's power, striking fear into the hearts of all who see them coming. This is Tarkin. Wilhuff Tarkin became the first Grand Moff when the Galactic Empire was formed. As part of his duties, he was given oversight of the Death Star, which he took most of the credit for after relieving Orson Krennic of his post. Ruthless and calculated, Grand Moff Tarkin will stop at nothing to spread the Empire's control.